बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। डॉक्टर मुनव्वर हुसैन आपकी खिदमत में। इंतहाई अहम शख्सियत वाशिंगटन डीसी से हमें ज्वाइन करेंगे। स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर उनका बड़ा वसी तजर्बा है और मुख्तलिफ नेगोशिएशंस के अंदर वो हिस्सा लेते रहे। उनसे सवाल ये पूछेंगे कि ये जो वाइट हाउस के डिप्टी चीफ जो पॉलिसी हैं स्टीफन मिलर, उन्होंने एक बार फिर ईरान को धमकी दी और कहा है कि ईरान के पास इंतखाब करने के लिए दो ऑप्शन हैं। इधर वो चिट्ठी जो वाशिंगटन ने भेजी है जिसमें वाशिंगटन की जो इत्मीनान बख्श जो प्रपोजल्स हैं वो उसमें शामिल हैं, वो या तस्लीम कर लें या फिर ऐसी फौजी सज़ा का सामना करें जो तारीख में किसी ने देखा नहीं होगा। और साथ में ईरान ने भी इंदिया दे दिया है कि वो मुकम्मल तौर पे तैयार हैं, 3 करोड़ बसीजी भी तैयार हैं। साथ में CIA ने यह भी रिपोर्ट किया है कि ईरान पहले से ज़्यादा उसकी जो मिलिट्री इंडस्ट्रियल कॉम्प्लेक्सेस हैं वो तेज़ी से बढ़ते नज़र आ रहे हैं, उनका एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव हो गया है और जो अमेरिकन वॉर प्लान्स हैं उनको डिडक्शन की कैपेबिलिटी उनके पास ज़्यादा रिफाइन हो चुकी है। इस सूरत हाल में प्रेसिडेंट प्यूटन इस वक्त चाइना के अंदर हैं, प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप होके आ गए हैं, बॉडी लैंग्वेज दोनों के फ़र्क नज़र आ रहा है। और फिर चीफ हमारे जो हैं मिलिट्री के और डिफेंस फोर्सेस के सैयद आसिम मुनीर साहब, उनके बारे में अल जज़ीरा ने रिपोर्ट दी है कि गालिबन वो कल दुबई तशरीफ़ ले जा रहे हैं, यानी आज के दिन जब आप देखेंगे तो दुबई तशरीफ़ ले जाएंगे। इन सारी चीज़ों के ऊपर गुफ्तगू करेंगे। हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं पाल फ्रिज, किसी तारुफ के मोहताज नहीं है। Paul, first of all, thank you very much that you have given us time.
My pleasure.
Paul Fridge, White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller, he has given a statement, and that statement is important, but frankly speaking, Iranians are not taking it seriously. But a statement that he has given is that Iran has a choice to make. They can either agree to a piece of paper that is satisfactory to the United States, or they can face a punishment from our military, the likes of which has not been seen in the modern history. Here, there is expectation that agreement is very near to be completed, very near to be signed. And Army Chief Sayyid Asim Munir is paying visit to Tehran as per Al Jazeera. So, how do you see this new development? The harsh statements are coming from Washington as well as from Tehran, but thing is going in a positive direction.
Yes. Well, I think I'm still reserving judgment as to whether things are actually moving in a positive direction. I would like to see a breakthrough on a diplomatic settlement that addresses the concerns of both sides. At the same time, both sides seem to have settled into a sort of long-term stalemate where each has deployed tactics that are unlikely to work over the long term. In the U.S. case, it's the blockading of Iranian ports. In the Iranian case, it's the blockading of the Strait of Hormuz. These are not conditions that are likely to be acceptable to the broader international community as a long-term new normal. But at the same time, neither side feels that it can walk away from these tactics and de-escalate without the other side doing so simultaneously. So I think that's where we are. We've seen President Trump himself. We don't have to rely on Mr. Miller. We've seen President Trump himself escalate the rhetoric, threaten renewed military action, and then right away back away from it. Now, the last time he did that at the beginning of this week, he said that he was urged to defer military action by other U.S. allies in the region, by the Gulf states. That is an entirely plausible explanation because these states have run low on ballistic missile interceptors. Iran apparently has not run low on ballistic missiles. So there are operational constraints that argue against a renewal of large-scale military action. At the same time, there are political constraints in the United States that argue against a renewal of large-scale military action. This conflict remains deeply United States and is becoming more so the longer it goes on and the higher gasoline prices go. So I think unless we find some sort of diplomatic way out for the foreseeable future, I think despite the harsh rhetoric on both sides, I think we've settled into a pattern of neither war nor peace where the current stalemate can be expected to continue.
This is a very important point that you have raised, that the stalemate is an option in the hand of President Trump. Uh, Paul Fridge, how do you see this enmity between United States of America and Iran? Is it structural enmity because Iran since 1979 broken the structure of United States of America in the region and declared that Iran is emancipated, and this will remain continue unless either Iran has to go or American power decline completely?
Well, I think it's structural in the sense that, as you note, it's rooted in historical experience that has been painful not only for the United States but also for Iran. The United States would date the conflict back to 1979, and you have American politicians, President Trump himself, who regularly discuss a 47-year conflict that they're seeking to bring to an end. Iranians would date it further back than that and would point to 1953 and the coup that overthrew Prime Minister Mossadegh that was sponsored by the United States and Britain. But I think if you go back further than that and look at the core strategic interests of these two states, I don't think that it's structural in the sense that it is inevitable that these two states should be at each other's throats forever. I think if we could find a way to move past the current conflict, it's entirely conceivable that we could find points of convergence that would form the basis for a more cooperative relationship. But it's difficult to see that happening in the current circumstances and with the current leadership both in Tehran and in Washington.
How do you see the visit of President Trump to China and his body language as compared to President Putin's visit and signing of 40 agreement
Mm.
almost with Chinese?
Yes, I think President Trump was treated in many ways as an honored guest, and President treated a member of the family. I think the body language between President Xi and President Trump clearly favored President Xi. I think there was a choreography that was designed to present to the world an image where President Xi was clearly the senior partner in this relationship. And I think that there was a lot more genuine warmth in the relationship between President Xi and President Putin. But I think the President Trump's visit to Beijing was part of a larger pattern where the Chinese leadership has been attempting to present to the world its new role on the global stage. And I think it has done so successfully in this series of visits, not only the two presidents, but also the visit of the Iranian foreign minister that immediately preceded President Trump's. So you had Foreign Minister Arachi, you had President Trump, you had President Putin. And for the Chinese, they were able to present this image of foreign leaders coming to pay tribute to the emperor, which I think resonates with Chinese nationalists.
My last question is a bit structural again, because I am a student of international politics as well as a student of
Yeah.
American studies. I think the narrative which is coming from United States of America, especially key thinkers like John Mearsheimer, Robert Kagan, Robert Papp, Wali Nasser, they say that America is a declining power while we are living in a multipolar world. And some ex-diplomats and some military personals here in Pakistan, they are trying to prove that still we are living in a unipolar world. Even
Yeah.
Paraveen Sahni, a known Indian strategist, he also believed that we are living in a multipolar world and America is a declining power because of its own mistakes and blunders in its foreign policy. So, what is your idea that are we living in a multipolar world or still it is a moment of a unipolar world?
I think it has the current environment seems to have elements of both. I don't think that America is a declining power in the traditional sense. If you look at traditional indices of national power, economic performance and growth, military strength, political influence. I think America under President Trump, and I would point you to the Trump administration's national security strategy that was released last December, as well as a series of actions that it's taken in the Middle East, in Europe, in East Asia, and the signals that it sent, and particularly after the summit with President Xi. I think President Trump has said some very concerning things about the U.S. relationship with Taiwan that I think has raised among U.S. allies in the Pacific. He certainly said a number of things that have raised questions among U.S. allies in Europe. So I think America in the short term is a power that is choosing of its own volition to decline in terms of influence. But I don't think that that's inevitable, and I don't think it's irreversible. But I think as long as it's happening, it is going to leave power vacuums in different regions of the world that are going to be filled by very powerful regional actors. So I think that's where you see elements of multipolarity in the current environment. And certainly Mr. Putin would like to take advantage of that. President Xi, I think, has a more nuanced view because President Xi sees China as a rising power over the long term and as a peer competitor of the United States. And I think over the short term, I think it's in China's interest to see U.S. influence decline in ways that allows him to present China as a more viable, more stable, more reliable alternative. But I think over the long term, I think China values stability and would like to see some equilibrium in this relationship.
I would also like to ask you a very brief question because you mentioned that America can
Sure.
reverse this position. So how America can reverse this position? In the past, if we go through the history of United States of America, it always went into isolationism and regained the strength. So do you think that America needs
Yes.
to be isolated again and re-energize herself?
Well, I think America in many ways is isolated today. I don't think that there's a lot of sympathy for the position that America has gotten itself into in the Persian Gulf. I don't think there's a lot of sympathy for President Trump's ambitions to, for example, annex Greenland from our treaty ally, Denmark. I think there's a lot of nervousness among Asia Pacific allies in the aftermath of President Trump's visit to Beijing. But historically, these periods of isolation, of self-isolation by the United States, have ended when there has been some sort of international crisis where only the power of the United States could sort of create a critical mass among the international community to resolve it. I don't know whether we'll get to that point again. I hope that we won't. And I hope that after this experiment in unilateralism and military adventurism, I would hope that the next administration would return to what long considered the core strengths of America on the world stage, which are its commitment to a rules-based international order and its unique network of partnerships and alliances worldwide, which give it a distinct advantage over powers like Russia or China, who act generally in their own interest.
Thank you very much, Paul Frisch, that you have shared your insight. This is a wonderful always. I appreciate your analysis, frankly speaking. Always we have a chance to learn a lot from you and my audience as well. Thank you very much. Inshallah, in future we will invite you again.